This stuff's silly. It's all we have come from the babysitters to a real position that makes sense. It's that simple. So why would you need any of that when, do the birds look for blessings? I have not met a bird that's looking for blessings. Okay, but people do. See, again, these are old ideas. And just the word itself, blessing, that's really, when you look at if it's the Pope giving blessings or Harry or the president raising his hand, it's some kind of blessing or confirmation. What is that? That's where when people receive a so-called blessing, they're passive, aren't they? That's taplining. They're thinking they're getting a gift, but they're really not. And yes, it started off like that. In other words, it's like when we were young, and our mother gave us ice cream and cake. Oh, those were the good old days, weren't they? Oh, it's so sweet. Ava used to eat a lot of cake. Ava actually wanted the last piece of cake. See, she always wanted there was always more when they cut them up. If there's 6 pieces of cake and there's 5 family members, there's always one left over. And Ava would tell me the story how she wanted it. Well, that was like her little blessing, that if she got it, she would try and figure out, how do I get that one, And so we're all funny in this way. And so we've went through that. But, now we're bigger. And we've all eaten probably a lot of ice cream and cake our life, okay? And now you might say we're paying for it, because now it's showing up with all kinds of infections, all right? So, kind of along those lines, do you still want more infections? Do you think that ice cream and cake is going to make you feel better now? No, it's going to make you feel worse. So, identifying with the isness life is. This is really a very interesting wake up that we're going through. I love the adventure because it's so real. And this is where, again, most people won't see it because it's just far too real. They just cling to their body framing, the literal part, the emotional and the literal part. The blessing thing is an emotional wanting, you might say. That's just with the person's emotions. And what is that blessing going to do? Okay, like ice cream and cake. Okay, it's going to be a thrill for a moment. And then what? Then they're going to want more blessings and more blessings. See how it goes on? In other words, it becomes an obsession. It's an emotional idea. And if people want that, well, go ahead. It's just like Joseph that went back to religion. He was with the corporation. He saw us. He rattled us. He was all upset. Then all of a sudden he just started doing the NUUU, and he goes, oh, wow, this works. And then he was with us for a while. Then for some reason, he got bored. And this is really what it is. People get bored. I get it. I know we all get bored here because it is a boring place. We don't realize that this place is boring because it's not the true reality life is. The true reality is recognition of what is real. And so he got bored. So he goes back to religion thinking that, okay, I'll go back here and see if I can conjure up some thrill or something, or, create some cause, whatever it is. Okay, go do it. And so he's doing it, and he's putting his ideas out there because he has nothing else to do. Okay. And so, just trying to make sense of a distorted world here. But the blessing idea, I just, people are going to come and go. That's how it is. We're not about members or people sticking around or whatever. It's recognition is what it is. People have to recognize. They have to take the time to recognize what's going on, what makes sense. Again, nature demonstrates itself. Do the birds do this? Do they do erratic things from one position to another position? It's like, oh, I don't like this nest. I'm going to go build another nest. No, I'm going to go build another nest. Well, this time I wanted blue. Now I want it yellow. Do the birds do that? Do the animals do that? No. No, they have an instinct about them that the human part of ourselves has not developed or paid attention to, as an example. And it's right there in front of us. Does the sun change colors? Only when there's, pollutants in the air do things change colors or whatever. But there is an endless perception, a perceiving and recognition to life that's just awesome. But again, the individual has to decide that we have this capability to decide. And so the blessing idea is really prehistoric. Now, it's prehistoric stuff, and it's all infected. In other words, the fruit was ripe for a while. Paul was here. We're going to use Paul as an example. And this is coming up too with the lawsuit. They're going to batter Paul, which is fine. I'm up for it. We're going to have a lot of fun with this. That's why I've created the overview review. We're going to have a lot of fun with this. And so we're not reporters. It's not the news anymore because, all the news is fake, according to the officials, okay? They're not fake, but the news is, okay? So they can say whatever they want. We're in the Donald Trump era of the one-dimensional business world. So again, this is the craziness that's going on, and it's fine. Doesn't matter. They're in their own dementia, okay? And that's fine. They have the right to do that. I just simply am, presenting what we're doing, and we're having fun with it. We're going to have more fun while we're becoming more aware. And so just like yesterday with what Sam presented, and those few people that we know, those that pay attention, these are great objective views of the real side. And not saying that anyone should accept it. That's not the idea here. We're not battering people to believe in something, but you decide. You decide your adventure. You want to accept it and go along with it and be with people that are making sense, or do you want to just go on your own and do whatever? So again, the blessing thing, when I think of the blessing idea, I think of the Pope. And this is the biggest deception in the world. And if people don't get it, they don't get it. Okay, I'm not going to comment on what people think or whatever. Ava was just reading something, like I said, from one of the higher initiates, Neck, and they're looking for the next Mahanto, or Paul said this and Paul said that, or whatever. Paul said a lot of things. And really what he said overall is that it doesn't matter what he said, but what he was really saying that was not seen or heard by most is that you need to recognize. It's not about what he says so much. You need to recognize what's going on. And even with his predictions, a lot of them didn't come out because, again, it's free will. Things are set into motion, through cause and effect. That's the only way they're set into motion in creation, okay? Unfortunately, life is bigger than creation. And creation, like I said, has its purpose. And we want everybody to be okay. We really do. I'm not trying to confuse people here. Everybody confuses themselves. And this is really, you have to come and face yourself, first of all, because we can create. By the very fact that we have free will to create is a challenge. To recognize. That's the biggest challenge. It's not the world and what's going on. It's not about the stock market up and down or how much money a person has or who they are. It's the challenge to recognize that we create something and that we have to deal with it. And how do we do that? And what really does make sense? Well, again, we use these references. Well, this makes sense. That doesn't make sense. We use these references the best we can. But the isness life is like the air we breathe. It's an isness. And so if blessings make sense, chase them. Chase the idea. People will wake up and recognize what's going on. It's the recognition that I'm after to present to people. And so these things like blessings are always going to take place. People are always going to refer. They want freedom. This is the funny thing, is that people want freedom. It really comes down to freedom. What is the blessing about? like the healings of Jesus, whatever. People want to be relieved, people want to be free of something, etc. That's the blessing idea. Oh, bless me so I can be free of whatever, some curse or my wife or get rid of her, whatever the idea is. Yeah, what does all that mean? Why do you want a blessing? Bless you for what? What's the end result of that? You're going to be smarter, you're going to be younger, you're going to get a better job. What's the idea of this blessing? Okay, so when life is really, it's about becoming more aware, is really what it is. It really makes sense. It's not spiritual growth. It's not all these things, these cute little ideas. But if that's what you want to chase, go ahead. Those are ideas. So it becomes kind of a funny thing. And even the references that I create are only references. I'm just being real because it's a lot better. And so at least that we can recognize each other at some point here. And we do see this, but it's really verified through each individual's real side experiences. We just relate to that idea. So no, I will not be, agreeing to what is creating a demise in the world. So I will not be agreeing to the cutesy stuff that is creating demise in this world. I see what's going on, and it is now. It had its point where it did work. Now it's creating demise, and it's all taplining. So I'd run, you might say, it's just a jest, that when you see the Pope raise his hand, it's like turn off the TV or run and hide, because again, and that's just a joke. Because it's not what people think it is. Just like when Obama ran for president and told everybody, there's going to be a change coming. Well, it's not what everybody thinks it's going to be. It got worse. And it's getting worse and worse and worse. It's not getting better. Nothing's getting better. People will look at the business world and think, oh, business is good. It's getting better. No, it's not. It's getting worse. It's how you see it. It's getting worse. It's polluting the world. It's destroying the environment. It's ruining people's minds. They're sucking in more fumes and bad ideas, even though it looks to be good. Business is good. No, it's all getting worse here. Because it's already a chain reaction that's in creation, you see. It's already there. It's all implemented consciously and unconsciously because it's the control factor. Because people have so agreed to being controlled that they really can't see anything else. And so even though that they create cute little ideas like blessings or whatever, thinking that they'll be relieved from the consciousness they're agreeing to, is a fallacy. It's a fallacy altogether. They need to recognize, they need to pierce the veil, you might say. They need to recognize what is real to supersede all the fallacies that they have agreed to consciously and unconsciously, and face themselves and recognize these tap lines. So I would suggest not to take in more tap lines because that's what the blessings are. So again, you have something fun, and in the challenge, it's always there. I like the challenge, yes, of all these old things. But if people want it, I just tell them, hey, go pray to your gods. You have the right to do that. People have free will. They can do whatever they want.